All right, let's talk about self-improvement. But today, we're gonna skip the usual stuff about just trying harder or thinking positive. We're going straight to the hard science of how you can literally rewire your own brain for change. Let's get into it.
This idea right here, it's pretty much the foundation for our entire conversation. It tells us that our identity isn't some fixed, permanent thing. Nope. It's a direct result of our actions, our habits, what we consistently do day in and day out. Who we are is a process, not some final destination.
It's a great question, isn't it? We all hear practice makes perfect, but what's the actual physical mechanism behind that? How does simply doing something over and over again transform not just what we can do, but who we fundamentally are?
And here's where it gets really cool. This change we're talking about isn't just a fluffy motivational concept. It's a real, physical process that's happening inside your skull. It's biology. It's neuroscience. So, for this first section, let's put on our lab coats for a minute, because we're looking at change as a science. We're about to pull back the curtain on this incredible, kind of hidden superpower your brain has that makes all this personal growth possible. That superpower has a name: neuroplasticity. And this is the big one. It's the core concept for everything. Think of it like this. Your brain has the built-in ability to update its own software. It can literally forge new pathways and change its structure based on your experiences. And the implications of this are just massive. We're not just talking about getting a little better at a card game. We are talking about fundamentally changing your habits, learning incredibly complex new skills, and even reshaping core parts of your personality. And this right here is one of the biggest myths we need to bust. That old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, it is just flat out wrong, scientifically wrong. Your brain's amazing ability to change and adapt doesn't have an expiration date. It's with you for life. To really get a sense of the sheer power of this, just look at human history. The exact same fundamental brain process that allowed our ancestors to figure out how to make fire and build shelters is what allows us to learn quantum physics and build rockets today. It's the engine of all human progress, both for you as an individual and for us as a species. Okay, I know neuroplasticity can sound a little bit abstract, a little clinical, so this next section uses a fantastic analogy that makes this whole idea really tangible and easy to wrap your head around. Let's just imagine your brain's potential for change is like a big block of wet cement. It's not hard, it's not set in stone, it's soft, it's impressionable, and it's basically just waiting for instructions. So if your brain is the wet cement, what shapes it? Well, your actions do. Every single effort you make, every time you practice, every time you decide to focus, every new thing you learn, those are the tools. You are the sculptor, deliberately carving patterns and building structures in that mental cement. All right, so if we are the sculptors, what are our tools exactly? This next part is all about the how. How do we consciously and deliberately go about molding that cement? According to the science, it really boils down to these four main tools. Discipline is the force you apply. Habits are the repeated patterns you press into the cement. Mindset is kind of like the blueprint you're working from. And time? Well, time is what allows that cement to finally set and become permanent. And this is what's so empowering. We're not talking about needing to make these huge, monumental efforts. The tools can be small. Seriously, reading for just 10 minutes or planning your day for 5 minutes, those are real physical acts of sculpting. Over time, those little taps with a hammer create massive changes in your brain. Now let's look at a fantastic historical example of this. We all think of Thomas Edison's story as one of eventual triumph, but let's reframe how we look at all those so-called failures. Look at that number, over 1,000 attempts. Now, it's really easy for us to look at that and see 1,000 failures. But if you look at it through this lens of neuroplasticity, it was something else entirely. It was 1,000 repetitions, 1,000 learning opportunities. With every single one of those mistakes, Edison wasn't just getting closer to inventing a light bulb, he was physically rewiring his brain to become a better problem solver. The failure was the process of self-improvement. This brings us to our final and maybe most important section. This is where we tie it all together and reveal the true purpose and power of all this effort. Now, this might sound a little weird at first. We usually try to improve ourselves to get external things, right? A better job, a healthier body, better relationships. But the science shows us that the external stuff isn't the real target. The primary goal
the most fundamental change is internal. It's the neurological revolution that happens inside your own head. And this is the sequence. It's a simple two-step process. You use the tools of discipline and habit to reshape the wet cement of your brain. First, your mind changes, and only then, as a direct result, does your external life start to reflect that new internal structure. So this isn't just a feel-good mantra or a nice platitude. It is a scientific fact. Neuroplasticity gives you the verifiable biological ability to improve, to adapt, and to become a better version of yourself day after day.
The wet cement is there. The tools are in your hands. So the only question left really is, what are you going to build?